As of filming this, the price of Bitcoin has just dropped right below $64,000. In mid-June of 2024, which is when I'm filming this, we've had a record of $1.2 billion worth of Bitcoin that has been sold. This is a result of course, us not being able to break the all-time high above 74,000, which we hit prior to the Bitcoin halving. But don't worry, because previous cycles, it usually takes several months after the halving for new rallies and new all-time highs to be broken. For example, the last all-time high in 2020, or sorry, rather the halving in 2020, it took a little over 5 months for it to break the all-time high and to start that new rally. So we're at about 90 days, about 3 months in. So it could theoretically take another few months before we actually see more on-chain activity and more purchasing through ETFs, and to get our next rally, which will put us over this 6-figure mark, which I am confident we will hit, but the timing is suspect, right? So I'm going to just let everyone know to be patient over the next few months. And the purpose of this video is, as you see all the selling and all these people that are cashing out, which typically could mean either miners or institutional investors, not necessarily a panic sell from everyday retail investors like you and me, but the purpose of this video is to give you guys a guaranteed way that you do not panic sell your crypto. This is a two-part approach, and it's worked for me very, very well. And it doesn't mean that you have to time the market in order to implement this. It just means that you put safeguards for yourself in place to ensure that you don't run to the computer or run on your phone and panic sell because you see other people are selling, which is a common recurrence. And this is a lot of times when we're in the middle of bull markets, there's sort of like a sideways period, which is exactly where we're at right now, where people are seeing a large swing between 64 and 74K, and they're just being impatient and they don't see the forest through the trees. They're not seeing the long game here. And in my opinion, we're about halfway or maybe less than halfway through this current bull market. So one of the best ways that you can actually help yourself not panic sell and not rush to your phone or your exchange and what have you to do this is two things. Number one, which is most important, make sure that you set a plan with everything that you're currently in at the moment. So whether that be cash out all the gains you've made so far and then go on the sidelines and wait for the next few months for this to pick up and enter in that way, or what you could do is if you're in currently positions that are down, say you're in altcoins or things like that where you're currently down, recommendation is first of all, make a plan, be patient, set your profit targets at different stages. This is called scaling in and scaling out when you buy, and making sure that you actually have measured moves or places that you know that, okay, at this price point, I'm going to take 25% off the table. At this price point, I'm going to take 50% off the table. Whatever your particular case may be. When you write it down and you set a plan ahead of time, this will make sure that you don't panic sell and you just understand that there's ups and downs in the market and you just ride the wave, and when it hits those, make sure that you're disciplined and you follow your plan. More than anything, it's being able to trust yourself when it comes to trading crypto, because what a lot of people do is they buy, they have no sell targets, they have no plan, and then they get emotional and they make rash decisions. A way to completely override that is to set a plan long before you go into a trade. So every single trade that I make, what I do, find an altcoin, designate my entry point, then I'll know exactly, okay, with this position size, I'm gonna scale out some here, and then on the other hand of that is, okay, this is something that's starting low. It's maybe a new project. What I want to do is put a quarter of my position in here and then maybe another half of my position in here. Whatever your case may be, it all depends on what project and at what point in the market cycle that we're currently in. One of the biggest things that I've learned is by following this plan, you not only develop skills and trust in yourself, but what you're actually doing is ensuring that no matter what, you stay disciplined and stay to your plan. Even if you lose money, even if you don't make as much profit as you coulda, woulda, shoulda, that doesn't help you. What helps becoming a better trader is staying disciplined, setting a plan and following your old plan, and then reiterate and learn how to make that plan better in the future. Because if there's one thing I've learned, there's always another trade, There's no reason for FOMO. There's always opportunities. Bull markets, bear markets, sideways markets, it really doesn't matter. There's always an opportunity. The second thing that I do, as I talked about in some previous videos, is my multiple capital buckets. But more importantly, if I'm in the middle of a swing trade or if I have long-term storage, I make sure all of those are on a hardware wallet, put away in a very inconvenient location for me to access. So for example, let's say I'm sitting on the couch on a Saturday night and there's a big price change, a huge sell-off going on in China or what have you. If I know that I'm going to have to go dig out my hardware wallet, get it all connected, initiate trades, send it to an exchange. Exchanges might be down, might be a hassle, maybe you've been drinking a little. It's just, there's so many steps there that will prevent you from making a knee-jerk reaction and doing something foolish that you might regret later. So a hardware wallet actually serves a couple of purposes. One, it makes it a lot more difficult for you to manage your crypto in the sense that it's inconvenient. You can't do it at the snap of your fingers. You can't do it from your phone sitting on a couch. You have to go get it. You have to go, in some cases, plug it in. If it's air gapped, you got to load it up. You got to do all these multiple steps to actually go and cash out. And usually during that process, which can sometimes take 10 to 30 minutes, it helps you make sure that you know what you're doing, and it has barriers to entry to ensure that you're not making a knee-jerk or an emotional-based decision. Another way you can guarantee that you don't sell your crypto is making sure that when you have these all on different hardware wallets and in different locations, you make sure that you also have the recovery seed phrase metal backup. I mean, you can use paper, but metal is obviously better, but you can actually distribute that into multiple locations. So if you lose your hardware wallet or you lose your software wallet or whatever, you have to go to multiple locations to get your seed. Now, these are not foolproof, right? These are just things that I've learned. The harder you make it to trade in and out of your long-term positions or your swing trade positions, the more disciplined you'll be, in conjunction, as I mentioned with part one, of making sure that you have a plan in conjunction with making sure that you have it all on a hardware wallet, not on an exchange, not on your phone, because we already discussed the vulnerabilities and issues that can go there. By having those two things, you can virtually guarantee that you will not panic sell your crypto. Now, you have to use both of these, obviously, because if you set the plan and you set the targets, you see a massive washout or a dip, you can have some money on an exchange. Now, this is the amount that you're willing to lose at any given time. So let's say, for example, you have $300 or $500 that you have either on a software wallet or an exchange that you can use to buy the dip. Perfectly okay with that, with the understanding that that money could disappear at any minute. I always leave a small amount on my software wallet, never on an exchange, but I always have a small amount on my software wallet where I can buy the dip in the event of something crazy happening. So, but again, I use that to, when everyone's panicking and selling, I use that to buy. Typically, the best way to make money is to do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. Just kind of recapping all of this, I think the most important takeaway is when you're watching a lot of very volatile, kind of choppy action going on, don't get caught up in the emotions. Zoom out, see the forest through the trees, understand why you're in Bitcoin or particular altcoin trade to begin with. Remind yourself what your time horizon is. Remind yourself, is this an investment or is this a trade? And then, as I said, as long as you actually make sure that you have that all in place ahead of time, it's almost foolproof. There's been times, because we're all human, sometimes you get emotional, sometimes you're not thinking clearly. You want to just sell and you want to get out because you want that sort of sense of security, if you will. But I promise you, if you act on impulse or if you act based on emotion and go outside of that plan, 99.9% of the time, that works against you in the sense that you're leaving money on the table, you didn't stick to your plan, and when you do that, you lose trust in yourself and your own discipline, and when you do that, you tend to make bad decisions. There's a secret magic, I don't know what you call it, something to the effect of if you set a plan and you hold yourself accountable and you stick with it, you'll build a lot more confidence, not just in everyday life, but in trading as well. So just wanted to hop on. I saw a lot of people ping me, hey, is the sell-off happening? Should I get out now? I don't like to give people financial advice. I always just remind them of exactly what I'm telling you here. What's your plan? And do you have it put away? And are you following that plan? So if you leave everything off of an exchange, if you make it difficult for yourself in a sense of, okay, it's going to take me 30 minutes to go through all these steps and all these processes to do what I want to do, then you may not want to do it. And in a lot of cases, when you're making those decisions, you really want that extra time to be sure and that you don't make a mistake and lose a lot of money. So that's all I wanted to really cover, just ways that you can help ensure that you protect yourself against yourself. And over time, it'll become second nature. The more reps that you get in and the more practice that you have having these good habits, which again, do take time, the easier it's gonna be for you. So wrap this all up here. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns on this, please let me know down in the comment section. I will do my best to get back to you. And then until my next video comes out, which is shortly, I have a really cool topic for you guys. Check the video on the screen right here. And until next time, Crypto Renegade out.